Everybody, Chuck Schumer and many Democrats are urging President Biden to sign an executive order to immediately send out stimulus checks to the people. This is the breaking news around the fourth stimulus check that you have to know. So the proposal, everybody, includes components of the Build Back Better plan and Biden's sweeping $1.8 trillion domestic economic agenda that included climate change proposals and policies intended to support Americans that are financially struggling. Biden's plan also includes universal pre-K, subsidized childcare for most families, and the extension of the expanded child tax credit. So friends, several members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus began discussing today what Biden could accomplish by executive action. The group's chair, Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington, said that progressives understand that our mandate in this governing moment is to deliver for working people and to leave no one behind. Millions of Americans continue to struggle financially as the crisis is still impacting our nation. Representative Jayapal told reporters, We've been pursuing a strong legislative strategy, and we will continue to do that. And that includes numerous conversations with senators, with the White House, and their own leadership about how to move any piece of legislation and President Biden's agenda through. The Biden administration, everybody, says this. They have taken a strategy of executive actions since President Biden has taken office. Lawmakers are releasing a list of steps that the Biden administration can take in that same mode of executive action that will have an immediate and meaningful impact for families. And it's really good news for households with children that have been having difficulties affording everyday necessities. So everybody, executive orders are written directives that presidents provide to their administrative agencies that are published in the Federal Register. As of this week, Biden has signed 84 executive orders, but it's important to remember that executive orders can be challenged in federal courts, and President Biden can actually do something about student loan debt that many people are saying he could take executive order on. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, and Pramila Jayapal, along with many other Democrats, are demanding that President Biden release a memo outlining his legal ability to cancel federal student loan debt and immediately cancel up to $50,000 in student debt per borrower. The group of lawmakers wrote, Outlining your existing authority on canceling student debt is so crucial to making a meaningful difference in the lives of current students, borrowers, and families. Ron Klain, everybody, the White House Chief of Staff, told reporters late last year that the Biden administration that Biden asked the Education Secretary to create a memo on the president's legal authority. Democrats have been calling for the release of the memo to give 43 million federal student loan borrowers needed relief for several months now. Representative Omar gave the Education Department 2 weeks to release a memo back in November. Omar told Insider, millions of borrowers across the nation are desperately asking for student debt relief, and we know the president can do it with the stroke of a pen. Cancel student debt, everybody. Do you think that President Biden should cancel student debt, everybody, and focus on that, or do you believe that he should be focused on helping out the people with more stimulus payments? Tell me what you think in the comments.
But the taxpayers who helped invest in these new production facilities should be able to enjoy some of those profits as well and get some of that money returned.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In recent years, South Dakota's cattle producers have been deeply concerned about market volatility and potential market manipulation. If confirmed as commissioners, what would you do to protect the viability of cattle and other agricultural markets while also ensuring that hedging tools are available and priced correctly? And Ms. Mersinger, given your agricultural background, this is a subject I think you know well. Let's start with you.
Thank you, Senator. And yes, as you mentioned, I do know this well, and I'm keenly aware of the concerns in the cattle markets. I think the most important thing here is transparency, and the best way to ensure that is through constant communication, and that's with the producers, the staff at the CFTC, and the exchanges as well. Because at the end of the day, we need these markets to work in their role as price setting and risk management tools. And that's something that, if confirmed, I look forward to continue working on.
Other nominees, thoughts on that?
Back in 1987, an independent commission identified 43 places called areas of concern along the Great Lakes. There are areas where pollution, as EPA director said, where pollution from industry runoff, from agriculture, poor wastewater treatment, put the Great Lakes and everyone who depends on them at risk.
Now, Social Security may run out of money soon, and lawmakers are quickly taking action, and they're trying to get a bill passed that would waive that would save Social Security benefits for pretty much everybody. So there's a ton of views to go over in today's fourth stimulus check update, so you want to continue watching this video. And I know many of you are wondering what checks are going out this month. Well, the first round of Social Security checks, reflecting a new 5.9% COLA, went out last month, and recipients are now waiting on their second check coming this week. The increase is the largest in nearly 40 years for those who qualify for the adjustment, and it could not come at a more welcome time. Inflation is now 7% and expected to keep rising as the crisis wears on. Now for February payments, the Social Security checks are sent out as follows. If your birthday was on between the 1st and 10th of the month, then your payment will be distributed on the 2nd Wednesday. If your birthday is on the 11th and 20th, then your payment will be distributed on the 3rd Wednesday. If your birthday is on the 21st to the 31st, then your payment will be distributed on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. According to Social Security Administration, everybody, for millions of retirees, Social Security provides an essential source of income in retirement. In 2020, around 50 million retired workers collected Social Security benefits. However, the recent 2021 Social Security Trustees report finds that in 2034, retirees will start receiving a reduced benefit if Congress does not fix the funding issues for the social program. In other words, everybody, Social Security will exist after 2034, but retirees will only receive about 78% of their full benefits starting then. According to economists and Social Security experts, no major Social Security legislation has been passed at all since the 1980s. And so we do have this event coming up that forces Congress either to do something or most people's benefits are going to be cut by nearly 25%. In order to understand why Congress is facing a long-term financing issue, well, it's important to know how Social Security works.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we consider the $52 billion in taxpayers' money to subsidize the chip manufacturers, we can't ignore the environmental impact of this manufacturing. We need to obviously have a plan in order to deal with all of those issues so that we are ensuring that we reduce greenhouse gases, that we reduce carbon in the atmosphere. So my question would be, I know that Lamb Research has committed to carbon neutrality by 2050. That's an important step, but it's not enough. You must get to net zero across all greenhouse gas emissions. And to the other witnesses, will you commit that your companies will reach net zero by 2050? Mr. Gelson.
Yeah, we will be shortly describing a detailed plan to accomplish net zero by 2040. And we're laying out a more aggressive plan to, be